Hey guys, my name is Jeffrey Johnson, and I'll be talking to you about why should athletes be rewarded for good behavior in sports. First off, I want to talk about the significance of this issue and why I think that it is important. The reason that I think that this topic is important is because so people understand why should athletes be rewarded for good behaviors in sports. As a former athlete, it is very hard when competing to respect other athletes, coaches, and officials during a game because you get so wrapped up in the game that your mind does not remember to respect other people and other authority during the game. But in Chapter 8, there are topics on the consequences of rule violation, enforcing rules consistently, and guidelines for creating team rules on how to manage athletes' behavior, which is very important in sports, but there's not much talk about why athletes should be rewarded for displaying that good behavior. I feel that good behavior in sports shows good sportsmanship, values, and coaching. With the next couple of slides, I'll be getting into the significance of these three, of why I feel like these are the three most important things of why athletes should receive recognition for the good behavior that they display in sports. The first is sportsmanship. Good sportsmanship is not only as a practice of etiquette and respect in sports, but also because it helps teach young athletes good behavior that carries over into other aspects of their life. For example, a young athlete who believes that it is appropriate to gloat when his or her team wins may believe that such condescending and rude behavior is appropriate in other aspects of life. While sports provide physical activity and competition, these activities are also forms of social engagement that are guided by a set of behavioral rules, much in the same way that other activities like business place a secondary emphasis on social behavior. Sportsmanship is also important in the context of athletics in order to make the experience of play sports more pleasant for everyone involved, which I think it is very key. The second one would be moral values. Sports promote so many values that can be easily used in our daily life and that can improve ourselves as people. One of the main qualities they gain is a healthy dose of competition that can help you be stronger in every situation ahead. Moral values contribute to a community of respect and trust between competitors. Key virtue of ethics in sports are fairness, responsibility, and respect. I feel like moral values is a great concept because when players have a great foundation of what they believe in and what they know, that these things come into play later on in certain situations ahead in life. Lastly, the last reason is I feel like good coaching comes into a factor, which is I think one of the main reasons because good coaching is one of the best ways to get players to have good behavior in sports. Coaches spend an enormous amount of time with players, and a good coach will always be able to respond to a player, and a player be able to respond to a coach, and they both be on the same page. I feel like good coaching helps athletes to listen to the coach when it comes to playing time, playing the game the right way. A coach can communicate with his players on and off the field, can help players understand the importance of coaching, of teaching them moral values as well. The very best coaches get their athletes to believe in themselves. They also inspire the players to do more than they think they can do. In fact, all good teachers do this. They get their students to entertain possibilities that stretch the limits of their belief. Part of this involves building the athlete up rather than knocking him down. Good coaches always build self-esteem rather than undermine it. This self-esteem building is not just a gimmick, nor is it done artificially. In other words, the coach doesn't praise a mediocre effort. The simple makes it. This simply makes it a practice to catch the athletes doing things right. To sum all of my examples up, I think after talking about these three reasons of why players should be rewarded for good behavior, three reasons of why players should be rewarded for good behavior in sport In sports, players always tend to lose focus and have emotional breakdowns because of their competition being very high. Players tend to be playing for way more than just to win the game and can tend to act violent in certain instances that cause them to do something that they could quickly regret. Players should be rewarded for behaving well, considering that it is hard for players to behave at all times during sport. So players that can keep their composure during difficult times should be approached for their efforts. Should be appreciated for their efforts. Sorry about that. The two questions that I have are, what other ways would you say that athletes should be rewarded for good behavior? And is it possible for players to develop good behavior on their own? Please respond. Thank you for listening to this presentation.